Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about some more definitions, vocabulary, and concepts. So we're going to talk about adjacent angles, we're going to talk about transversals, and then the next video I'm going to show you some figures and introduce some other vocabulary. But let's start with what I have here. So the first thing I want to talk about are adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are any two angles that share a common vertex and a common side. And we've seen some of those. So if I draw a figure like this, right? So let's say we have this. Well, we can see that this angle, angle DBC, is an adjacent angle to angle ABD because they share a common vertex, right? They share a common vertex B and they share a side. So basically they're right next to each other. So these are adjacent angles. That's it. That's what we call adjacent angles. Now, vertical angles are angles that share a vertex but are opposite each other. They're exactly 180 degrees apart, if you will. So an example of vertical angles is if I take two lines like this and I just intersect those two lines, then if I have this, then I know this angle and this angle are opposite angles. And these two angles are also opposite angles. Okay? So we call them vertical angles. So vertical angles are angles that share a common vertex but are opposite each other. And so that's what we call vertical angles. And then a transversal is a line, a straight line that crosses two or more parallel lines. So for example, if I drew something like this, let's say I have two parallel lines. Oops, not very good. Let's try that again. Right? And so let's say these are parallel lines and I draw a line through them like so. Then this, let's call this line L. Let's call this line M and N. Then we would say that line L is a transversal. That's it. So that's what we call a transversal. And so in the next video, I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to introduce some other types of angles and some important conclusions we can draw. See you then.